Hi students, welcome to lesson 7, Theorem of Total Probability. In fact, this lesson onwards, we are studying the concept of conditional probability in a different way. So far our journey was very simple. I hope up to lesson 6, you were very comfortable because concepts were very simple. But this total probability theorem onwards, you have to be a bit careful. In this lesson, we are going to learn the following. Number one, the partition of a sample space. So this is one new concept which we have to learn. Then second one is theorem on total probability. That is the theorem which we are studying in this lesson. Then of course examples based on this theorem. There are two important theorems this year. One is Bayes theorem. We are going to learn this. And another one is total probability theorem. My experience says after completion of Bayes theorem, normally students ask this question. They have one doubt whether the given problem is on Bayes theorem or total probability theorem. So they have a confusion. Therefore, what I suggest is first try to understand the concept of total probability theorem. I am trying my level best to introduce with very simple explanation with a relevant example. So please try to understand. Then let us solve one or two examples. And in exercise and in textbook also, there is very little scope given for total probability theorem. I think there is one worked out problem and one exercise problem on total probability theorem. But Bayes theorem, of course, there are a lot of problems. If you understand total probability theorem, then definitely Bayes theorem will be very simple. So let us begin. So please note, in this lesson we are studying only three important major concepts. So the question is now, what is total probability theorem? So let us try to understand. Say this is the example. Box 1 contains 6 green and 4 red balls. Box 2 contains 5 green and 5 red balls. A box is selected at random, and from the selected box a ball is drawn. Now the question is, what is the probability that the ball drawn is red? So let us try to understand this question with the help of a diagram. See, this is box 1 which contains 6 green balls and 4 red balls. And the second box, box 2, contains 5 green and 5 red balls. So these are given. Now what is done here is, one box is selected at random among these two. Therefore, suppose you select the first box, what is the probability? So probability of B1, this will be 1 by 2. Similarly, suppose you select box 2, probability B2, this will be once again 1 by 2. Now what you are doing, look here, from the selected box you are drawing a ball. Therefore now what is that ball? The color of the ball is red. So this is the second stage. Now therefore we can say this way, if you select the red ball from the first box, then it is probability R given B1, because this is a conditional probability. Probability of getting a red ball given that the box is B1. So now what is the probability? Now in the diagram it is very clear, there are 4 red balls and total balls 10, therefore it is 4 by 10. Similarly, suppose the box is 2, then once again it is conditional probability. Probability of getting a red ball given that it is B2. So now here it is 5 by 10 because there are 5 green and 5 red balls. Now the question is, probability of getting red ball means either the first case or the second, A union B form. Therefore, probability of getting a red ball will be equal to probability B1 into probability R given B1 plus probability B2 into probability R given B2. Let us substitute 1 by 2 into 4 by 10 plus 1 by 2 into 5 by 10 and simplify, you get 9 by 20. So this is the probability. So now look at the formula. Probability of getting red ball equal to probability B1 into probability R given B1 plus probability B2 into probability R1 B2. Of course, this you can extend. Instead of 2 boxes, you can take 3 boxes. So you have to use relevant formula. This is known as total probability theorem, and we have to understand where we have to apply this concept based on the given example. So this is the idea of total probability theorem. Now, before proceeding further, what you have to do is we have to understand one concept that is called partition. So we should know the meaning of partition of a sample space. Let us try to understand this with a very simple example. Say an unbiased die is tossed once. So S will be equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you know this sample space. Now let us take E1 equal to say 1, 2. That means number 1 and 2. And E2, this is another event. So you know that subset of sample space is event. So E1 is one event. E2, 3, 4, 5, this is another event. And E3 is 6. So 3 events I am just presenting before you. Sample space is yes. E1, E2, E3 are the events of the sample space. Now observe here, I have done it intentionally. E1, E2 and E3 are 3 mutually disjoint subsets of S. This is one thing. You can see there is no element which is repeated. So E1 contains 1, 2. E2 contains 3, 4, 5. E3 contains 6. So they are mutually exclusive or disjoint. Second one, when you combine them, that is E1 union E2 union E3, you get S only, sample space only. And the third one is E1, E2, E3 are non-empty subsets. That means every set contains at least one outcome event. Therefore, E1, E2, E3, if these 3 conditions are satisfied, it is called partition. So E1, E2, E3 are called the partition of the sample space. I have just given you one example. You can divide sample space S into different subsets, but condition is these 3. Therefore, you can remember condition 1, the first one is mutually exclusive. Condition 2, when you combine them together, take the union, you should get yes only. Third one is no event should be empty set, that is non-empty set. So probability of each one should be more than 0. If these 3 conditions are satisfied, that is called partition of the sample space. So this is the very simple idea, and this idea is required for both total probability theorem as well as next I am going to introduce Bayes theorem. Now let us define the definition, say partition of a sample space. This is the definition. Let S be the sample space of a random experiment. Let E1, E2, E3, etc. En be n events such that number 1, A, Ei intersection Ej is pi. That means they are mutually exclusive. I not equal to j. This is the first condition. Ij running from 1 to n. Second, B condition is E1 union E2 etc. union En. It should be yes only. This is the second condition. And the third one is probability of Ei should be more than 0. So non-empty events. So I from 1 to n. If these 3 conditions are satisfied, then E1, E2, E3 etc. En are called partition of S. Are called partition of. This is the definition, and this definition we are going to use in stating total probability theorem. Theorem of total probability. Now let us state. Let E1, E2, E3, etc. En be a partition of a sample space S, and suppose that each of the event has non-zero probability of occurrence. Let A be any event associated with S, that means it is other than E1, E2, etc. Then probability A will be equal to, this is total probability theorem, probability E1 into probability A given E1 plus probability E2 into probability A given E2 plus etc. Last one, probability En into probability A given En. So this is total probability theorem. I have given you one example already where you can use this theorem. Now let us try to prove it. Let S be the sample space. So this is the sample space which is same as universal set. So we let us represent it by a rectangle. So this is S. Now let E1, E2, E3, etc. En be a partition of S. What do you mean by partition? That means they are all subsets of S. Satisfying condition. One is they are mutually exclusive. Then when you combine them, you should get yes, and each one should be non-empty. Let me just show you in diagram. Say this is E1 for example. Second one this is E2, and third one is E3. Then etc. etc. En. So these are the partition. Now let us take any other set A other than this E1, E2, E3, etc. Which is a subset of S. So for example, this is A. So this is another set, or it is an event of S. Now we know that A will be equal to A intersection S. This we have studied in first PUC, first chapter sets. This is universal law. Any set A will be equal to A intersection S, where S is universal set here. So A equal to A intersection S. Now what is S? So since E1, E2, E3 are partition, S must be equal to E1, E2, etc. up to union En. So we can write this now. A intersection, in the place of S we can write E1 union E2 union etc. union En. Now look here. Last year we have studied once again distributive property with respect to union and intersection. A intersection B union C is same as A intersection B union A intersection C. So this property law we have to apply here. So what happens is A intersection E1, then union A intersection E2, then union etc. etc. A intersection En. So this is the distributive property. So A can be now written as A intersection E1 union A intersection E2 union etc. etc. A intersection En. Let us proceed. Now look here. Therefore probability A will be equal to probability of A intersection E1, then A intersection E2, then union etc. etc. union A intersection En. Now very important thing is this. See, A intersection E1, A intersection E2, all these are the sets. They are also disjoint. You can see in the diagram also. In the A, all the other subsets are mutually disjoint. Therefore now once again by formula, this will be equal to probability of A intersection E1 plus probability of A intersection E2, because they are mutually exclusive, plus etc. etc. probability A intersection En. So this is the. Now you have to recall the formula for conditional probability. Let me show you. Probability of A given E1 will be equal to probability A intersection E1 divided by probability E1. Definition of conditional probability. Therefore, probability E1 into probability A given E1, that is you cross multiply, you get probability A intersection E1 is same as probability A given E1. Similarly, the second one, probability E2 into probability A given E2, etc. Last one, probability En into probability A given En, and this is what we wanted to prove. So this is the total probability theorem. Therefore, let me conclude. Probability A will be equal to probability E1 into probability A given E1 plus probability E2 into probability A given E2, etc. probability En into probability A given En. So this is the proof. So let us take one example. A bag contains 4 red balls and 4 black balls, and another bag contains 3 red and 6 black balls. One bag is selected at random and a ball is drawn. What is the probability that the ball is red? So this is the question. So definitely it is based on total probability theorem. So box 1, so number of red balls, this will be 4, and number of black balls, this will be 4. So this is the first information. Second, box 2, number of red balls, this is 3, and number of black balls, this is 6. Now let E1 be selecting box 1. So the event E1 is selecting box 1 and E2 be selecting box 2. Then probability E1 and probability E2 both will be 1 by 2 because one bag is selected at random. Therefore it is 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Now let R be the event that the ball drawn is red. Then probability R given E1, that will be equal to, you can see here there are 4 red balls in the bag 1. So it is 4 by 8. So that is equal to 1 by 2. Similarly, probability R given E2 will be equal to 3 by 9, that is 1 by 3. Now use total probability theorem. Required probability will be equal to, what is the formula? Probability R equal to probability E1 into probability R given E1 plus probability E2 into probability R given E2. Then substitute. Probability E1 is 1 by 2 and probability R given E1 is 1 by 2 and probability E2 is 1 by 2. Probability R given E2 is 1 by 3. Just simplify. So you get 5 by 12. So this is the answer. So this is the first illustrative example. Second example, a person has undertaken a construction job. The probability are 0.65 that there will be strike and 0.8 that the construction job will be completed on time if there is no strike, and 0.32 that the construction job will be completed on time if there is a strike. Then determine the probability that the construction job will be completed on time. So this is once again based on total probability theorem only. Let us write, let A be the event, the construction job will be completed on time, that is A. Now let B be, there will be strike. So event B is there will be strike, and then B complement will be there will be no strike. So definitely. Now what is given, let us write. See, probability B is given. You can see here the probability R 0.65, there will be strike. Therefore it is 0.65. Then therefore what is probability B complement? So it is definitely 1 minus 0.65, that is 0.35. Then probability A given B complement. Look here, 0.80 that the construction job will be completed on time if there is no strike. No strike means B complement. So this is given 0.8. And next, probability A given B is also given. If there is a strike, then the probability is 0.32. So it is 0.32. Probability A given B. Now you can definitely apply the total probability theorem. So by total probability theorem, probability A will be equal to probability B into probability A given B plus probability B complement into probability A given B complement. So this is 0.65 into 0.32 plus 0.35 into 0.80. So simplify, 0.208 plus 0.28. So the final answer will be 0.488. So the probability that the construction job will be completed on time will be equal to 0.488. So this is the second example. In exercise, the first question is on total probability theorem, that is exercise 13.3. Students, please note all the remaining questions are on Bayes theorem, which we are going to study in the next lesson. So example 1 is this: an urn contains 5 red and 5 black balls. A ball is drawn at random and its color is noted and is returned to the urn. Moreover, 2 additional balls of color drawn are put in the urn and then a ball is drawn at random. what is the probability that the second ball is red? So this problem seems to be a bit complicated. Let us try to understand the question with the help of a diagram. See, this is the thing. Say only one box urn is given and it contains 5 red and 5 black balls. This is the thing. Now, case 1 is this. See, first draw, you suppose you get a red ball. What you have to do? Read the problem. You have to put 2 additional balls to the urn, which is that color. That means here what happens is the red ball are put because you are getting a red ball. You have to put 2 red balls. So this is the thing. So second draw, you have to get a red ball. This is one condition. I am repeating. In the box, what happens? Your urn, first you have to draw a ball. Suppose it is red, you have to put 2 red balls. Suppose it is black, you have to put 2 black. That is the thing. Similarly, case 2 is what? So first draw, instead of red ball, suppose you get a black ball. What you have to do? Now you have to put 2 black balls into the urn. So you get this situation. Then what you have to do is second draw, you should get red only. In the second draw, only red. But in the first draw, what happens is either you may get red ball or you may get black ball. So this is the problem. So I wanted to make it simple by just a diagram. So now let us proceed. Now, number of red balls, so that is 5, and number of black balls initially, that is also 5. Now, let R be the event that the red ball is drawn in the second draw, that is R. Now, let E1 be the ball drawn in the first draw is red, and therefore what is probability E1? It is 1 by 2. Then probability R given E1 will be, because now you see this is important. If it is a red ball, what you have to do is you have to put 2 red balls in the urn, then you have to draw a ball. So what is the probability of getting a red ball? So there will be totally 7 red balls. So 7 by 12. This is very important here. Similarly, so 2 red balls are put, therefore this is the probability. Suppose E2 is the event, the ball drawn in the first draw is black. Then what happens is, probability E2 of course 1 by 2. Probability R given E2 will be equal to what? It is 5 by 12 because you are keeping 2 black balls. So red balls will be only 5. Black will be 7. So this is the important stage. Therefore, by total probability theorem, probability R will be equal to probability E1 into probability R given E1 plus probability E2 into probability R given E2. So substitute 1 by 2 into 7 by 12, 1 by 2 into 5 by 12. So simplify, you get 7 by 24 plus 5 by 24, 12 by 24, you can simplify, so you get 1 by 2. Therefore, the probability that the second ball is red is 1 by 2. So this is the only one example given in the exercise which is based on total probability theorem. Thank you students for watching this video. Hope you have understood the concept of partition of set, that is sample space, and the total probability theorem, and also the example. Please subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and share with your friends. Let us meet in the next lesson with the next important, very interesting theorem, that is called Bayes theorem. Till then, bye, take care.